boys and girls. Today I am here to share with you one of my very favorite books. And this is a copy that apparently, I don't know why it has a number 22 on it. It's kind of a mystery. But it's called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very, Very Bad Day by Judith Viorst. And it is a book that when I was having a bad day, when I was a little kid, my mom used to read to me because it's a great book about your feelings, right? And sometimes it is okay to have a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. And so I wanted to share this book with you because A, it cracks me up, and B, everybody can relate to having a day where they just feel like nothing goes their way. All right, so let's share Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Oh. You ever heard the expression, got up on the wrong side of the bed? I think that's what happened to Alexander today. At breakfast time, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box. Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too, and I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I am going to be carsick, and no one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Poor Alexander. Nobody likes sitting in the middle. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I want you to notice his invisible sandcastle. I think he was being a little creative there, huh? I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend and that Albert Moyo was his next best friend and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. Sometimes when we're in bad moods, we let other people know by saying not very nice things to them. Is that fair? No. Do you think his mood will change? Let's see. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. It's not getting better yet. That's what it was because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist. And Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. Look at how grumpy he is. His whole body is grumpy. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot, and while we were waiting for my mom to get the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy. And then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby, and, oh my gosh, it gets worse. While I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me for being muddy and for fighting. I'm having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, I told everyone, and no one even answered. Sometimes the worst part is when you're in a bad mood and nobody really understands that, huh? Uh-oh, it's time to go shoe shopping. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose I chose blue ones with red stripes, but then the shoe man said, you know what's going to happen, right? We're all sold out. They made me buy plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. Everybody's happy except Alexander. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with the copying machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk. I was careful as could be, except for my elbow. He also said don't fool around with his phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said, please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I think it's for Dad too now, huh? Look at his desk. Yikes. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate lima beans. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. Poor Alexander. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. And I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep and the Mickey Mouse nightlight that burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that. Even in Australia. The end. So, does his problem get fixed? Does he magically feel better in this story? He really doesn't. But sometimes it's okay to have a bad day. I want you to think. Do you think about tomorrow? What do you think Alexander might feel like tomorrow? Is he going to have another bad day? Or do you think maybe it's okay that he had a bad day and tomorrow his day might get a little bit better? Maybe. Only the author and the character know, right? But we can make our own minds up and we can use our imaginations and decide what we want to decide. All right, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this book because sometimes when you're having a bad day, it feels like you're the only one in a bad mood. But sometimes there are other people out there that can definitely relate. And I always think about Alexander when I'm having a bad day. All right, I hope you enjoyed Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. And I hope we get to share another story together again soon. Have a great day.